Hello, so here I am practicing the deadlift and the squat in this video. I'm actually relearning or remastering these lifts and others because a lot of things happened and I got off track with my training and my technique, my form, everything. So it's okay, I can recover. So here's the process. As you can see, I'm lifting light on the deadlift, and there's a reason behind it is because I'm focusing on the technique, on my form. I'm focusing on breathing properly, and so a few things that I'm going to share in this video, they are really important in any lift, but I'll be specific when it comes to the deadlift, and then I'll talk about more on the squat. So when we're talking about the deadlift, important cues that I learned was first to torque, being able to torque and really lock ourselves and pushing the floor and engaging even our feet. Okay. And the torque, the best way that I can explain is we need to external rotate our quads or our hips. I don't know, or our how do you call that bone inside? I don't know how to explain properly. Whenever the coach explained to me, he demonstrated, and then I did it and I got it right away. So you need to external rotate your leg, and it will create that torque, and you feel like you're really screwing to the floor. And then the next important thing is to brace. You need to brace. And I see many people saying that you need to hold your breath like you're going down, and then I think you need to breathe out when you, I don't know. I never hold my breath when I'm doing the deadlift or the squat, any lift. I never hold my breath for nothing. I'm constantly breathing. The thing is, when we're bracing, we need to be able to brace and breathe on our chest, not breathe with our belly, because our belly needs to be engaged, tight, almost like if somebody's punching you and you're maintaining that ab area really tight. But bracing is not only about that ab area. You really need to be able to engage obliques, the lower back, and then stabilize it, keep it really tight. That's another one. And then of course the breathing, you need to breathe with the movement. So on the deadlift, when I'm lifting the weight, I'll breathe out, and when I'm going down, I'm breathing in, and it needs to flow constantly like that. We need to be really stable on our hips and also on our scapula as well. I see some people, every time they reset, they move their arms like they're kind of like a bird. It's not needed. If you're really tight and everything is engaged and stabilized, there's no need to, every time you go with the bar down, you need to do that movement with your heart. We need to be really tight, and then breathing and the movement on the legs, everything needs to be flowing. It needs to be tight. Okay, so I'm not at that point that I am saying I'm mastering it, but I will get there. Okay, and the next important thing on the deadlift is to load the hamstrings and use the legs. Don't pull the bar with your hands. Instead, just straighten your legs by loading the by squeezing the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, everything. Okay, but when you're pulling the slack, I think that's how you say, from the bar on the deadlift, you need to load the hamstrings and the glutes, and then you will hinge from your hips, and then you have the full movement. So there's no much pulling involved. It's mostly pushing the floor away. On the squats, it's almost the same thing, but there's no, we are of course not loading the hamstrings. Is more the quads that is working more. But on a squat is a very complete exercise, and saying that we're working on our quads or on our glutes is not really it. It works every single thing. So when I say the squat is the same principle as the deadlift, is in a way that we need to also torque, we need to brace, engage the core, Breathing is the same in a way that we need to, whenever we're making the effort, breathe out, and whenever we are more relaxing, we breathe in. So in the squat, whenever we are going down, we breathe in. Whenever we're coming up, we breathe out. And with the squat, depending on our stance, we will feel it more on our quads, or we will feel it more in our inner muscle, like the teardrop muscle, and then our glutes, okay, and adductors, okay. So if we are doing a sumo squats, we will feel it a lot in our adductors, outside of the glutes, inside of the leg. If we're keeping our legs with shoulders width apart, we will feel it more on our glutes. But the squats works all muscles, really. We can't talk about isolation muscles, because the squat is a very complete exercise and a very good exercise, and you will feel it a lot on your core if you really keep it tight and you can keep your breath. Because I wasn't able to say everything I wanted to say about the squat and the deadlift on the videos with the exercise, I decided to come and finish the video like this. So at the moment, I'm working towards fixing my lifts in general, all of them. And of course, it's not only about torque, breathing, bracing. We need to be able to also develop the muscle and then be able to connect it and engage it. Okay, engage every single thing. And then you will be able to put everything together. Okay, so other things that I'm doing as well when it comes to mastering my lifts. Okay, so doing isolation exercise to strengthen the core, to strengthen the glutes, to strengthen the calves, to strengthen the hamstrings, to strengthen the quad muscles. So it's important also for people that have any issues with their lifts, is just assessing what is the issue. Okay, so is my quads firing? Are my hamstrings firing? Are my calf muscles also firing? Is the front, the tibialis anterior muscles, okay, so the front of the chin muscle, chin, oh my god, you know what I mean. So is all of my muscles working, and is my glutes firing as well? Is my lower back as well strong enough? Especially when we are doing the deadlift, the lower muscle from our back, it's really there to stabilize, and we need to be able to engage it. Okay, so but it needs to fire. We need to have the mind and muscle connection to engage it and stabilize it. Okay, because that back muscle and the core are the stabilizers while we are doing while we are squatting or deadlifting or doing whatever. Okay, the other thing is that I've learned by mistake as well, that whenever we are deadlifting and I see people keep doing this on their lifts, and I thought they were doing the right thing, but from experience I've realized that unless you want to lift with your upper back and pulling the bar off the floor when you're deadlifting, and then when you're squatting, you won't be able to really load very well your legs if your lats are really engaged. Okay, that I've realized because I've saw many people doing that and lifting heavy, and some people that I admire. I also went to train with them, with the person, and that person also, when he lifts, he does that, which I think it might be still a correct way to lift, but it's a way to lift, especially on the deadlift, that will use more of the upper back muscle, and it will engage the lats a lot. And for me, when I'm deadlifting, I want to load my hamstrings, I want to load my glutes, and then I want to use more of my legs and my core when I'm deadlifting. I don't want to use so much of my traps, lats. I don't if I'm using them to the less, just the bare minimum. Okay, just the necessary. And even if the our form is correct, the how do you call, our shoulder blades also are there, like locked and engaged in a way that we wouldn't be able to use our lats anyway, in that way that that now I'm doing accidentally. So, but it's okay. Now I know what I'm doing wrong. I know what I need to fix. And so besides the torque, breathing and bracing and engaging the core and everything, we need to be able to make sure that our on their own, every muscles are firing and are working. And if they're not, we need to be able to work with them in the isolate way. So isolating everything, and do that very focused work, and then bringing everything together on the exercise. But when we do it, we will start lifting lightweight, and eventually we will progress to heavier weight. Okay, let me see if there's anything. Oh, the feet, the muscles of our feet. We should not worry so much about the shoes that we are wearing. Of course, we need to be wearing shoes that is not really squeezing our toes, because we need to have our toes healthy. But one of the most important things that I've realized about the feet is that you really need to feel that you're also engaging the, how do you call, the arch. Okay, and how do we engage the arch? So we will, once you're doing the torque, you will realize that the big toe we will be pressing the floor a lot, and you will be feeling that also, that you are pressing a lot from your heel, and the small toe as well is really digging on the floor to also stabilize. So by making that type of pressure on the floor with the torque, you will feel that you're engaging also your arch. And it doesn't really need to be that special shoes. Okay, so I was able to deadlift in running shoes, in very different shoes, and it didn't really matter that much, as long as there was enough space on for my toes to be there. And I learned how to stabilize and press down. I was able to do the exercise. But of course, we want the flat shoes. For me, I don't use the elevated heel shoes, because I don't think it's necessary. Because at the past, like I said, I used to do squats, deadlifts, all the lifts, and I never use that shoes. And when it comes to the belt on the waist as well, if you learn how to brace, I don't think you will ever need, unless you are an Olympic lifter and you're lifting really heavy, I don't think you need that belt. But that again is just my perspective, and I'm talking from my experience. Okay, I'll keep sharing, I'll keep posting as I'm improving, and also I will be sharing the accessory work that I'm doing. So the isolation, the mobility, flexibility, which is important as well. You really need to be able to have a good range of motion as well, to be able to perform the exercise correctly. So remember to do mobility, do your stretching, eat properly, because when you're doing things like squats, deadlifts, if you're under eating, it will not be helpful. So yeah, those are my main tips or advice that I can share. Okay, other thing, it will come with experience, and then if you know a very experienced coach, but not only those coaches that talk, those coaches that actually put in the work and they are actually doing the stuff that they're talking about, that will also be very helpful. I have met very good coaches. I met a few bad ones as well, but with time you will learn also how to choose a very good coach. So yeah, that's it. Bye bye.